You're listening to One Piece of Advice, brought to you by EEleaders.com, a ministry to encourage and equip church leaders.
Hi, I'm Glenn Shaffer. My wife and I oversee Apostolic Teams International, ATI. It's a number of churches and ministries. We live in Oklahoma, and if I was going to offer one piece of advice after 4 decades of pouring our life into people in ministry, it's this. You're not going to like it. Are you ready? It is a passion for prayer. Jesus said the flesh is weak, but the spirit is willing. You never reach a place in your spiritual life where the flesh is not weak. A lot of times people say, I can't pray because I'm not there yet. And they don't realize their spirit is always willing, but their flesh is always weak. I can tell you, there's not been one event in our ministry, in our life, that was not affected directly from prayer. I'm sitting here right now in connection with Daniel, which came from a brother who we were serving in his church right here in Florida. And if I could just tell you in the few short years of how already things have shifted because of what the Lord spoke in prayer. I look back from the first day, I'm on my face praying one day as a young pastor, 25 years old, because that's what you do. You pray, oh God, what are you going to do for my ministry? God, what are you going to do for my ministry? And the Holy Spirit speaks to me. And He said, you'll never be more than what your wife is. I knew that was God, because that wouldn't have come from me. I knew it didn't come from the devil. And from that moment on, I began to pray for her. I began to pray for her to come forth. And I didn't realize what God was doing was forming principles of ministry and prayer. I can take you through every church transformation, every change, buildings, lands. It never ends. It always comes from the area of prayer. And I'm saying, Lord, it is so valuable. I think the biggest difficult for people in prayer is when they're gifted. The more gifted you are, the least you think you need prayer. And so I know for me to come to you and say the greatest piece of advice, you'd go, oh man, I was looking for that one bullet that was going to change everything. It is the one bullet. It is the foundation of us being Spirit-led leaders. Because without that, we're just giving information. Without that, we're not bringing impartation. Without that, we're not bringing change. And if I could say anything to you, I'd say, begin to develop time in prayer. Everywhere you go, specific time, but time that you can listen and pray and cry your heart out. I believe it's an answer for burnout. Not only ministering in the place that God has you to be rather than positional mindset, but being able to cry your heart out. When the church is going through difficult times and you want to go and do something or talk to somebody, first of all, cry your heart out. There's something about this passionate prayer that God leads us and directs us. And when you come out of that prayer closet, Jesus said, what you do in private, the Father will reward you publicly. And your people will pray because you pray. The people you lead will pray because you pray. Not because of what you teach and say only, but it comes out. It's almost like osmosis. I can't explain it, but people are affected. There's an impartation in their life when you're men and women of prayer. So my advice, no matter what age you are or where you are, develop a prayer life. That will be the foundation of your ministry. It was for Jesus. It must be for us.